So guys, we're going to go ahead and jump right back into my 1963 Austin Healey Sprite. For those of you who don't know, this is a rat rod style build, meaning we are not going for stock. We're just making this into a fun car. When I got this car, it had a lot of problems. I've been kind of sorting all of those out, and the person who had it before me already started to modify it. So I said, let's take it to the next step. Let's make this an extremely fun car, but we need to make it safe. And one of those things is doing the rear brakes. I was going to film this, but I decided I'm going to do that off camera. There's just a lot of things that I've got to figure out myself. Never done the rear drum brakes on a car like this, so I've got to go through it, make sure I have everything hooked up right. Don't want to mess anybody up out there. But if I find things along the way that I know can help you guys, I will fill you in. What we're going to be doing on this video is tackling the rust. So it is something that I've been watching grow over the years on this car because I've had it for quite some time now. And I've gone back to some of my old videos and noticed I don't have nearly the bubbling that I have along here that is occurring now. I am a Florida person. We don't see much rust. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I have done some body work. So what I'm gonna do, to my best of knowledge, is repair this. I don't wanna say on the cheap because we're gonna try to do our best way of doing it, but we're not gonna be replacing metal. I don't have a welder that can do that. Maybe down the road we will, but what we're gonna do on this is grind all this rust off, or at least the rust that we can see, and I have an idea of how we're going to make this look really nice. So I've had an idea for a while on how I want this lower panel to look, and we're gonna tackle that today. So my goal is to grind this down to bare metal. Hopefully there's enough of it there. Use either a fiberglass filler or some sort of filler, and also make sure we protect that metal so it doesn't continue to grow on there. So we've got that big one there. There is some rust along the lower pieces here, so we might try to fix up some of that. And then along this side, we kind of have the same type of issue. So there's some up front there, and we do have a little bit of bubbling along here. From what I see, there was a lot of body filler put into this car. So like I said, we're not going for perfection. I like the patina of this car. I want it to have the feel of somebody who built a race car on a budget in the 60s and just kept maintaining the car. So that is the goal of this car. I'm gonna be blacking out a lot of things. I am gonna be doing a lot of controversial things to those who love an unmodified car, but it's my car. I wanna make this fun. Let's get started. Let's see what we can accomplish on this video. Well, guys, this is definitely a huge curveball. In fact, I've had to step back for a few hours and really think about what I was going to do here. Not expecting this at all. This entire panel, or at least a major part of it, needs to be replaced, obviously. And I was hoping to be able to just patch up a couple of things. And I was going to paint it with some truck bed liner and make it look even more kind of rat rod style and move on till I had the time and the funds to completely fix this. Now, I've got to come up with something, but I don't want it to discourage me. I don't want to look at this as a challenge that I can't do. So I've come up with some ideas. Now you can see here, this is filled with foam. It's completely rusted out. There's an insane amount of body filler on here. So what I'm gonna have to do here is come up with a fiberglass mold, like a cap. Now I've got to admit, at first I thought the foam was a bad thing, but in all honesty, it's keeping the shape that I need. I wish I would have made a mold before doing this, because I could have made a nice mold, knocked all this off, and then cut it out, put the mold in there, but we're gonna have to go with what we have. So here's the plan moving forward. We're gonna go ahead and tape this all off. I'm gonna make a mold like I've done in the past. That's something I've gotten really good at. We're gonna cut out the really bad section, which obviously is right in front of us, and we're gonna try to get that fiberglass mold to go in there and then kind of fiberglass fill the rest of this. Now, the good news is back here seems to be very solid. There was a couple bubbles here. Went ahead and ground those down, so that should be fine. That feels like some pretty solid metal there. You can just put a little filler on there and move on. The really good news is I thought the other side was going to be kind of the same thing, and it can be underneath the surface, but for right now, I don't have to invest a bunch of time on this because you can see this is pretty good. We can just sand this all down and do that truck bed liner on here. So I'm kind of excited about the way it's going to look. I was hoping to get this done today. It's going to be done on this video, guys, but it's going to take a lot of work. I'm not ready for it, but I hope you guys are, because we're going to dive into it. We're going to get this done, and we're going to see the final results on this video. So let's get started. So guys, let's go ahead and talk about where I'm at now on this part of the project and what the plans are to finish this off. Now, ultimately, I'm going to replace this panel either by welding in a piece of metal, which is the correct way of fixing this. And now I'm even thinking about making my own entire fiberglass piece because this area has a tendency to rust out even if you put a new panel in. It is a very common thing with these cars. So I'm thinking, why not go with a fiberglass piece that I can construct myself? This way I'll never run into that issue. But for right now, we are just patching it up because I want to be able to drive this car and I don't want a big hole in the side of it. I also get to test out doing the truck bed liner. If I hate it, I'm going to cut this all out anyways, but I really think I'm going to like it. It is something I've done many times now. I've done a complete Honda Civic with truck bed liner, but we're going to go a little bit different on this one. Typically, I buy the gallon or the quart and I put it on using a roller, and what I found to work best is this really heavy textured roller here. You cut it down, you can get a couple of them out of it. I could not find the quarts or the gallon in the truck bed liner at Lowe's or Home Depot, so I went ahead and just picked up a spray can. I'm gonna attempt to spray this on really heavy and then roll over it to give myself a better texture, because we are not going for perfection here. I got this pretty level, but I'm not even gonna block it. We're gonna go ahead and just 80 grit the entire thing, wipe it all down clean, and then spray it on. Like I said, we're not going for perfection. This is gonna all be redone anyways, but I want it to look good enough to drive around in and not have a big hole in the side. We'll fly through most of this for you guys, but at least you'll get to see how good this can actually look, and it's only taken me probably 4 total hours to complete this. And guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the final results. I've said it over and over again. By no means is this going to be perfect. By no means is this a correct way to fix rust. It is a way to fix rust, but ultimately it's not the correct way. If you're in an environment that is subject to rust, this is just a quick fix, maybe something you do over the winter till you can get it repaired. In my circumstance, I did not expect this, and I wanted to move forward with this project. So I said, you know what, let's go ahead and patch it up the best of my knowledge. And I gotta say, it came out extremely good, guys. It is very sturdy. That truck bed liner really hid any of the minor imperfections till you get very close. And it's not perfect. I rolled that truck bed liner on there to give it a little more texture, and then I ended up hitting it with some satin black paint because there was some spots that were showing through, and it was a little glossier than I wanted it to be, but the satin paint was almost identical. So I might do something a little different with it. I'm thinking about doing some sort of vinyl wrap or something on there just to kind of set the car off. And now that I think about it, I'd like to continue this up through here, and we can kind of repair the rust that's on the other side that's down in this area. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I know this is not the perfect way to do this, but this is a way to fix rust, and can be temporary or can be permanent. I'm, like I said, thinking about doing this whole bottom panel in fiberglass, and that would last forever, and that can be done. So maybe a couple years down the road, I'll make a mold of this and replace it with fiberglass. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I've got a really cool video coming after this where we're gonna detail this entire car, so I'm kind of finishing it up here. And I got the drum brakes all done up, so that's gonna be done on the next part of this video, so we can finally take it for a ride. But I'm excited about the cleaning results I'm gonna have on this car. We're gonna go ahead and polish it, and I got some new supplies from my new sponsor. So look forward to that video. You guys have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll catch you on the next one.